everyone, my name is Sam Gupta from Elevate IQ, and today's topic is what is an ERP? In fact, I like to call it as what is an ERP 2.0, as they have come a long way from how they were 20 years back. Newer ERP systems are completely different. If you are on an older ERP system, you might want to know that ERP systems change as our interactions with the technology changes. For example, 20 years back, we barely had mobile devices and our interactions were entirely different on our systems. With social media and newer technologies, our expectations have changed, and ERP systems need to adapt to these changing habits. So your old ERP system will not be efficient today. Jumping right into the topic. So what is an ERP system? ERP system could be thought of as an accounting system just because the accounting module is the foundational component of an ERP system. In addition, accountants are the primary user of an ERP system. However, an ERP system is much bigger than just an accounting system. Some people also refer to it as order management system. While managing your orders is going to be one of the primary purposes of an ERP system, the scope of an ERP system is much broader. The ERP can also help with procurement, planning, and financials. So it's not fair to call ERP an order management system. It's also commonly referred to as an MRP system. Traditionally, due to limitations of technologies, the business systems were smaller in scope. For example, we might have had an accounting system, but since having manufacturing capabilities in one solution would be too much for these old technologies to handle, there would be a package called MRP, which is also known as manufacturing resource planning. Since ERP systems are commonly used in manufacturing and distribution settings, they are commonly referred to as MRP system. To summarize, an MRP system is a core module of an ERP system, but calling ERP an MRP system is not fair for the capabilities that an ERP system offers. Some people also consider an ERP system to be inventory management system. While inventory management system is the heart of an ERP system, that's not all the capabilities that an ERP system can offer. Similarly, some people refer to it as a CRM system. With the advancement in the marketing trends, CRM systems are slightly newer breed of business systems. The boundary between CRM and ERP system would be a sales order. The CRM would be very strong in processes before the sales order, but not so strong with the processes that follow the sales order. An ERP, nevertheless, would be stronger in capabilities after the sales order, but may not be as strong with CRM processes. A CRM system would be responsible to capture lead management, marketing campaigns, customer interactions, whereas the ERP would capture orders, warehouse processes, inventory processes, and financial processes. An ERP system is not necessarily comparable to an ERP system. Following along the same lines, calling an ERP a cloud system is not fair either. Cloud is a technology. An ERP could be delivered in the on-prem setting or cloud. That's why it would not make sense to call an ERP a cloud system. To summarize, an ERP is an integrated system that can manage all your business processes in one system. The best way to define an ERP would be how it used to be defined traditionally. In the academic settings, in business schools, they refer to such systems as management information system. This term perhaps captures the true essence of what an ERP system really is. The management information system is supposed to help managers and executives with information in decision making. which is exactly what an ERP system does. Not only does it help them with this information, it provides this information in real time. Also, an ERP system provides the bird eye view of the KPIs along with the drill down capabilities in each of those KPIs. For example, if you have 25 business units, you might not be able to provide the personal attention to all those 25 business units. The ERP is going to provide a nice dashboard with the KPIs from all of those businesses. Some businesses could be in green while others could be in red. The red ones would need your attention. So the ERP helps you prioritize and helps you spend time where it matters most. Once you have identified units with problems, you may want to drill down into each department, followed by processes, and perhaps at the employee level. This traceability will help operations managers such as you significantly to identify bottlenecks and implement measures to optimize the processes. The other aspect of management information system is the timeline of the decisions. To illustrate this point, I'm going to share a story of a business that I have seen firsthand. They were in a convenience store space where they had more than 16 stores in some neighborhoods of Dallas, Texas. Some of these stores had a gas station with them. Now, if you are familiar with the gas station business, it's highly competitive. Businesses are competing for pennies. So, what the owner of this chain had to do is to hire a bunch of employees just to monitor the prices of their competitors. If the competitors change the price, they would tax the owner right away, who would then change it at the relevant stores, not to lose the business because of price. In the gas station business, consumers have tendency to check the price in the area before they decide to stop at a gas station. Also nowadays, with apps like Gas Buddy, the system would take to a station that offered the cheapest. It could be huge loss of business if they didn't act timely. Obviously, this is a very simple example of what timeline of business decisions could do to a business. The newer ERP systems provide millions of data points along with drill down capabilities on your mobile phones so you could make business decisions. The final point related to business management information system would be the integrated view of the organization. With the siloed system, it's hard to cut through the processes and find the insight that you need to run your business. It's hard to monitor which processes are working and which might use some improvement. With an ERP system, you get the integrated view of your entire business, the spend categories of your entire business, along with drill down capabilities. When it comes to defining an ERP, this is perhaps my favorite topic, as the ERP implementations often fail because of lack of consultants' understanding of your business or the solution. In fact, sometimes even the expertise on one solution could fire back. Just because an ERP system can implement a capability, it does not mean it should. Having expertise on multiple systems broadens the perspective if the solutions proposed would be the right fit for the product. Since ERP systems are highly capable and customizable, they are often over engineered and over customized. Because of this over engineering, they would feel bloated and not be efficient to their capabilities. It also pays to work with a certified ERP consultant who understand the guidelines provided by the publisher really well and not going to customize the product just because they can. In addition, when you are buying an ERP, you are buying a product which has been tested numerous times with similar businesses. Let's face it, designing a good software is hard, and designing an enterprise software that can handle the complexity of an ERP is even harder. That's why, while anyone with a laptop can can perhaps create a software company. There are only so few ERP companies that have been successful with their products. If you try to develop something that already exists and proven, is a pure waste of resources and time. If your business's processes are uniquely different, then perhaps it would make sense to design something from scratch for your business. But for most manufacturers and retail centric businesses, standardizing the processes would help reduce your product cost and help you invest more in sales or marketing to gain larger market share. Also, from the perspective of manufacturing or operations, it pays to focus on your core capabilities and outsource everything else. The reason why you may be buying an ERP is because software development is not your core capability. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Finally, when you buy an ERP, don't try to make it look like your old system or change the processes completely as you feel your processes could be different. ERP systems are designed after analyzing how most efficient businesses work. So you may want to look at your processes and assess why they could be different and if there could be a scope for simplifying them. The best example to understand this would be to understand if you bought an iPhone. You bought it because you appreciate how iPhone works. Changing it to make or work like Android would make it highly inefficient and waste your time and resources. Another perspective of defining an ERP would be to think from a single source of truth. An ERP provides a unifying source of information without any source of conflicts or duplication. The best way to understand the concept of single source of truth would be to analyze how our bodies work. We have a centralized human brains that control our body parts. Now imagine if all of our body parts had their own tiny little brains. How much chaos and confusion that would create, along with each body part acting in their best interest, with the possibility of duplication in terms of efforts. An ERP system is meant to be your company's brains. If all of your departments have their brains, you would have similar problems as you would if you had multiple brains in your body. This is why having a single source of truth is crucially important in an organization. Finally, if you have siloed systems, they might each need customers, vendors, items, or pricing information. The customer centricity helps in offering them different discounts even if they might buy at different locations. In the siloed systems, the customer record at each store would be treated as a different customer. It may not be fair to the customer. Also, they might not feel that they get the best experience dealing with your company. This is another perspective to understand what an ERP system can do for your business. ERP is one of the most strategic investment any business could make. If I ask you about your most strategic investment, you might say that it is perhaps your key employees or your IP. Without an ERP, you will be heavily dependent upon your key employees and you will have very little negotiation power. If your key employee decide to leave your organization to your competitor, you will lose that knowledge and might face disruption with your business. ERP helps you keep the business processes that you own and reduce the dependency on your key employees. Since ERP personalizes the workflow based on a specific role, it also reduces the training time for new employees, which means that you will have lower dependency on people. This is why an ERP is a more strategic investment than human resources. The ERP system also helps you enable the culture that attracts superior resources. These resources with culture will create great customer experiences, IP, and the other differentiators that are much harder to beat than just human resources or IP. Finally, the culture is a function of clearly defined roles and responsibilities, clear accountability and fair metrics, and finally, traceable, transparent metric that helps you build trust with your employees. So they feel they are going to be treated fairly for their efforts and have a clear path of success. Showing this path and enabling this culture is nearly impossible without an ERP system. The final perspective to understand what an ERP is to think it as a journey. The reason why it is a journey, as technologies evolve, ERP vendors are making their products efficient with the changes in technologies and are changing habits, how we use newer technologies and interact with newer platforms. In particular, if you have never had an ERP, your journey would start upon implementing an ERP. The best way to understand this would be to think about a scenario of buying a house for the first time. While you might be able to create a list of features that you might potentially like in a house, you won't know for sure until you start living in one. The same goes with an ERP. If you're buying for the first time, once you implement an ERP, you will get so much data and insight that you never had before about your business, which will help you appreciate the ERP features slightly better and perhaps help you understand your needs better as well. Finally, your needs are likely to evolve with an ERP too. We come across cases where a customer might say they don't want to replace their ERP system for the next 20 years just because it's a large dollar purchase. First, there are so many things that could change in the next 20 years. So you might overplan and potentially overspend if you planned for that long. For example, the technology landscape could change completely, or the publisher may phase out the product. Also, with an ERP, most businesses experience 20 to 30% growth because of operational efficiency and reallocation of your resources. With this growth, your business model is likely to change. You may be acquiring companies or spinning off business units to manage this growth. Because of this, your business processes are likely to change. Since the lowest common denominator of an ERP system is a business process, you may be over engineering your ERP system if you didn't assess the capabilities of your ERP system with your changed business model. This is why planning for next 20 years is not the smartest idea when it comes to buying an ERP. 5 to 7 years is the realistic and average timeline that most businesses outgrow their ERP systems. Planning for such horizon will help you choose the right product and help you reduce the cost without over engineering your processes. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. Also, if you would like to see a deeper video on any of the topics discussed, or perhaps one that is customized for your business process, please post and we'll be happy to record them for you. If you need any extra help with your ERP implementation, please feel free to reach out to me directly on my coordinates and I'll be more than happy to guide you. Also, please feel free to connect on LinkedIn or Twitter. We share really exciting content on digital transformation, ERP, and marketing automation through our social channels. Once you add us or follow, you will always be updated with the latest and greatest content. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please ensure you hit the bell button after subscribing so you are notified with the newer videos right away. Also, if you like this content, please help spread the word out on social channel or quote us on your blog post. Thanks again and see you around.